What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the North Shore 9 postgame show. I'm Jim. With me is Neil. Neil, the Pirates win today over the Tampa Bay Rays 8-4 to improve to 10-13 this spring. How you doing this Sunday afternoon? Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
I'm a little over just because my neighborhood was swarmed with drunk people yesterday.
Okay.
I could have done without that, but no, it's been a good day. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing great. Pirates were wearing their green hats today. Steve Blass was in attendance. It was Steve Blass Day at the ballpark. So, it looked like a pretty good time for all involved today.
Yeah.
Pirates win 8-4. Let's kind of get right to it. Just to kind of summarize the game here. Nick Gonzales homered. Matt Gorski homered. Some guy named Sean Ross homered late in the game. I had to actually look him up. Don't look him up. It's not really worth your time. Sorry, Sean Ross. But the rest of the pitching staff, Josh Fleming started today, went 3 innings. Chase Anderson went 4. So we'll talk about those two guys as they compete for a roster spot. Cruz, Reynolds, Hayes, Kutch, Joe, Olivares, all in the lineup today as well. So where do you want to start? Where do you want to start with this?
It's a good question. Just because a lot of the runs came later, so I guess we should probably start with the pitchers who are trying to make a major league roster spot.
Yeah, let's do that. So Josh Fleming on the mound today.
Yeah, Fleming.
His first start of the spring. He goes 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Here's kind of my assessment on Fleming. I think he is directly competing with Bailey Falter for a roster spot. I think one of those two are going to make the team, and one of those two is not going to make the team. I think Fleming, just based off how he's looked, has a leg up. I know the Pirates really, really like Bailey Falter, but at this point, I think it's hard. Bailey Falter is doing everything possible to pitch his way off of this team. And Josh Fleming today, it wasn't anything outstanding, but he went out there, he pitched effectively over 3 innings. The one run that did score on him, it was even a little fluky. He picked off a runner on first base, runners on first and third. That runner on first got into a rundown, and the Pirates infielders allowed the runner on third to score. So again, a fluky run he gave up. Other than that, he didn't look outstanding, but he didn't look terrible, and Falters looked terrible.
Yeah, I'm glad we weren't covering a Falter game. It was a little disappointing to see Jared Jones go against the Braves starting lineup, and we're not talking about that game. But yeah, Fleming was okay. I think he got hit around a bit in the first couple of innings. Guys were kind of barreling him up. But overall, no, it was a fine 3 innings. I wasn't blown away by anything he did. I don't think he has that unique stuff. If anything, the Falter clone to me was Anderson, because Anderson is the soft tossing lefty who, right. And he was striking people out. He was limiting hard contact, and he's been good all spring. So if anything, I feel like Chase Anderson has to have the leg up on Fleming or Falter, if we're going based on solely spring training performance.
So I think Chase Anderson's in the running for a whole other spot. I think they choose one lefty between Fleming and Falter, and then Anderson's competing for a whole other spot that's now open because of the Moretta injury. But Chase Anderson looked really good up until today, and even today, he gives up the home run to Brandon Lau, with a completely wind-aided home run. This home run went 92.6 off the bat, traveled 308 feet. It would have been a home run in 0 out of 30 ballparks, and it had an expected batting average of .030.
About
So
to say, like, Celestino and Oliveris both hit the ball further and didn't hit home runs today.
yeah, I mean that's so I'm not going to fault him for that. At the same time, I mean, it's not like Anderson looks super sharp. He did get a lot of swings and misses and strikeouts
Yeah.
today. So like I'll give him credit for that. 6 strikeouts and 4 innings of work.
Mm-hmm.
But he did give up, 5 hits and a walk. So he was giving up base runners, gives up the 3 runs. Like I said, one of them was on that homer. I thought he looked fine. I'm
Yeah.
not here to like toot any Chase Anderson horns. I
It
still
was,
don't know if I'm ready to give him a spot in this road
yeah.
in pitching staff, but
Mm-hmm.
he's in the mix. He's pitched himself into the mix.
Yeah, he has. And I mean, I'd prefer just rolling with like Ortiz or Priesters to give it to the young guys. But at the same time, this is like his worst. I think Richard's like this is his worst outing of the spring so far. And
This was
a
the first
perfect
time he's
home
given up
run.
a hit. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
he's
that
been
I think
hit.
yeah.
And like, the 5 hits, but like only one hard hit ball. I was watching him, and I think what stood out from him between Anderson and Fleming is that Fleming was throwing so many balls. Like Fleming could not find the consistent strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
And Chase Anderson's out here getting a bunch of whiffs, striking people out. And so, yeah, he had more hits. He gave up more runs, but I think his performance was better than anything Fleming did. And if you're talking about Chase Anderson, like as like the Moretta replacement or Fleming as the Moretta replacement, I'll give me Chase Anderson every time.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the roster here, I'm just kind of going through the list here, right? I think these are the people competing for this bullpen, right? Let's say Bednar, Chapman, Holderman, Majinski, Barucki are all in, right? So you've got 3 bullpen spots, and like I said, I think they're going to give it to at least one of Falter or Fleming gets one. You got to expect like whoever maybe loses out in that starting rotation battle, like Rowanzi maybe gets one of those bullpen spots. I don't think they're going to move on from Rowanzi, but I don't think Rowanzi's done anything to say that he deserves a spot in the rotation either. So I think Rowanzi gets one of those spots, and that's where it leaves that open spot, right? Where, okay, do you give that to the other of Fleming or Falter? Do you give that to I mean, it's kind of going through the list here. Is that Kyle Nicholas? Is that Jose Hernandez is in the mix there? Colin Selby, Hunter Stratton's looked good this spring. Brent Honeywell, Ryder Ryan's been okay, and then I think Chase Anderson you can kind of throw in the mix there with like Willie Peralta maybe, but I think that's the spot that Chase Anderson's competing for.
No, and that's fair. Even though it seems like they're kind of stretching him out to be a starter, almost like one of those like emergency starters if they don't have anyone else. With his stuff and his reliance on his cutter, like that's good for 1 inning if that stuff keeps working at the major league level. I also think Honeywell, he didn't pitch today, but if we're talking about guys like who've stood out, Honeywell has been the other guy that stood out to me. Is like those like minor league signings where you don't really like them, but there's like their bodies. Those are the 2 that have really like. I think they put themselves like in the driver's seat. I don't think Nicholas has done anything impressive. I couldn't tell you what the rest of those guys. Jose Hernandez has also been unforgettable. But if we send him to AAA, do we send him back to the Dodgers?
No, so he's the Pirates now. So that was Rule 5 pick. He had to be in the majors all last year, but the Pirates have total control over him now.
But it's nice at least to have those options. Like it's nice that like you can have like 4 or 5 guys who can realistically compete for bullpen spots in an already strong bullpen. That's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, and I'm with Doug here. I don't think you can give Colin Selby a spot.
No.
So I think I think that last bullpen spot I think is what's available. And Anderson, Honeywell, Stratton, maybe Peralta, throw him in the mix there. Like I think those are probably the guys who have a shot at it right now. And I mean, it would be hard to say who wins and who loses out of that. I think the one good thing here is that all of them, I think, are capable number 8 guys out of a bullpen. You know, like if that's your 8th guy in the bullpen, like that's fine, especially when the top half of that bullpen is as good as it is.
Yeah, and I know a lot of these guys will, like, if they don't make the MLB roster, they're going to get released. They're going to go on to other teams, but you know, you still have a lot of options, and you have time to figure it out. And I know they love Bailey Falter. I don't know, and I don't like to put any interest in spring training games, like in terms of like the runs given up.
Mm-hmm.
But also Bailey Falter, like his stuff doesn't look good. He gets hit. His breaking pitches. I don't understand how he could make the opening day roster just on pure pitching that he's done. You know, especially.
I mean, he's done. He has done everything possible to not make this team. I think going into spring, I thought he was pretty much a lock to at least be on the staff in some capacity, and he's done nothing but pitch his way off of it. So,
yeah.
Now again,
I don't know how much the Pirates actually invest in like results, or if they really are like who pitches the best in spring training gets the spot. But I'd rather roll it for Roansy, because at least for Roansy, you know, he's shown he has stuff. His stuff is kind of back. It's wild, but it's back in some capacity, you know, and that's better than whatever the heck Bailey Falter is giving us.
Yeah, I think Rowanzi's on this team.
I do too.
I don't think he starts, but I think Rowanzi makes this team. And
they're not going to cut him. I don't think they're going to cut him loose without like giving him one last shot.
I agree. 24 years old. I don't think they're ready to just completely do away with him, because if you do DFA Rowanzi Contreras, he's getting picked up.
Yeah, he's going to get picked up, and he's going to go to the Yankees, who are going to like turn him into a monster.
I watch him go to the Rays. The Rays will probably turn him into like the next crazy opener. Yeah, I don't know. But that's
the end of it.
Yeah, that was about it though from the pitching staff. So
yeah,
decent performances from both Fleming and Anderson, who are looking to take a spot on this team. And both of them turned in pretty decent performances today. Let's move on to the offense. You know, the first 1 through 6 in the order, all guys who are likely to make this team. I guess you could make a case for Olivares right now after the Taylor signing, but all of those guys doing something that you want to see. We'll start with Ke'Bryan Hayes right off the bat. Just made a really great play defensively. He's just so good there.
Yeah.
He also gets 2 hits, drives in a run. He's just hitting the ball so hard this spring. They mentioned on the broadcast too, like the guy's just locked in. I was looking at his swinging strike percentage right now too this spring, and it's 3%. So the dude, if he swings, he's hitting the ball, and his exit velocities this spring have been outstanding. He's just I haven't seen Ke'Bryan Hayes this locked in ever before.
Did he finally whiff? Did he finally swing and miss at a pitch?
His spring training swinging strike percentage was 3, so I think he has 1.
Darn, I guess there was a while there like he was up there with like he had not whiffed, so that's great. That's awesome. No, and like my heart kind of like, it's so unfair to Ke'Bryan, because like your heart kind of drops a little bit whenever he hits a grounder, because like great, here you go again. But you're right. No, the fact that the strike zone has been hit mashing territory where he's not missing the baseball is so encouraging. The ball continues to be hit hard, and I mean a 1.1 OPS is going to play. Not that it's going to translate over to the regular season, but he looks fantastic. And of course,
he does.
We all know about the defense.
Yeah,
like the cameras could not catch up to how fast he was fielding balls.
Yeah. If MLB The Show came out this weekend, so like whenever you have like the heat map come up, like his whole strike zone is just red right now. He's seeing red. So you love to see that. He just continues to have a great spring. I want to touch on O'Neal Cruz a little bit. Started off the game strikeout, but then the third at bat, just again something you want to see from him. He gets down 0-2, fights his way back into the count, and then he goes the other way with a single. So just the approach that we're seeing from O'Neal Cruz, just so good right now. He finishes the game 1 for 3. His OPS is over 1,200 right now this spring. He looks absolutely ready to go. And again, the approach is what I'm most excited about. Like, we all know what he's capable of doing just from a pure athleticism standpoint and just murdering baseballs. But he just has the right approach at the plate right now. And I'm excited for O'Neal Cruz this year.
I am too. And the speed is back too. I think him going first to third on a Reynolds single to left field, like the speed is back. The power has looked good. I think he still leads the spring training, like all spring training in home runs.
Yeah. I mean, he's at least tied for the lead.
At least tied. Like, yeah. So, and you're right. Like, we even saw this at the beginning of last year where, like, he was walking more. He was okay with hitting for singles instead of just, striking out for power. So, yeah, no, the approach looks better. He looks very comfortable at the plate.
Yeah.
And that's really great considering he hasn't played baseball in a very long time. The Pirates wouldn't let him play Dominican League. But he's kind of come in and hasn't looked back since spring training started.
Right. Like when O'Neal Cruz in 2022, right, when he was called up, you could obviously tell there was something there with him. But there were multiple times that entire, second half of the season where he just looked overmatched, right? Like, he hadn't seen major league pitching before. He wasn't used to it. And there were some pitchers who made him look silly from time to time. And I think that's the biggest thing that's sticking out to me right now is you don't see him look silly anymore.
Yeah.
If anything, he's the one making pitchers look silly, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference.
Yeah, and like he does do that thing where he'll I think his first strikeout he watched two pitches right down the middle and then swung at a ball and stuff like that's a little frustrating. But at the same time, like, that's one at bat, and yeah, you're right. He's not going in like striking out 4 times a game. Like, there were some games in 2022 where he just looked completely overmatched.
Yep.
That doesn't happen anymore, and that's really cool to see. Like, because that is superstar potential that we need unlocked in the worst way.
That you put it the best way. Like he doesn't look overmatched ever anymore. So yeah, great to see that. You mentioned Brian Reynolds single that he went first to third on. Reynolds had 2 hits today. Connor Joe with 2 hits today, including an RBI in the first inning to get the Pirates on the board. Edward Olivares, let's talk about him a little bit. He actually finally, I feel like he's starting to heat up a little bit. Like, the first half of this spring, he's been very, very underwhelming. He's a guy who I came into spring with pretty high hopes on. I think a lot of Pirates fans were hoping that he'd like really grab a hold of that, of one of these starting outfield jobs. Obviously he didn't. Right. And so, you bring in Michael A. Taylor, and that kind of opens up, maybe putting Olivares in a position where he's better suited. You're playing him mostly against lefties now. You're platooning him with Sawinski maybe, but you're giving Olivares a chance to succeed. But he does double today. Finally put a charge into a ball. I think it one-hopped the fence in right center field. So that was good to see. What are just your general thoughts on Olivares? Do you think? I mean, I think he's also in danger of being sent down at the end of the spring. Like, I don't think he has a roster spot locked up right now.
He doesn't, but there's not a whole lot of competition for that fourth outfielder spot. So I see him kind of like having like the best chance at it. I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of him, but he looked good today. Like, I know he only got 1 hit, but he was putting drives into multiple baseballs. I liked the way his swing was looking. I think he deserved more than 1 hit today.
Yeah, he was lifting the ball today, which was good to see. Because prior to this, he was really just hitting a bunch of grounders. So, so that was good to see.
So hopefully, he's finally like feeling the groove. It's the hope.
Yep. One more week of spring. So like you mentioned, that 4th outfield spot, there's him. And then you've also got, who else? You got Palacios, Bay, kind of all competing for that last spot. Nick Gonzales homered. He gave the Pirates the lead late in the game. He has been having a rough spring. But it was good for him to get on the board there. His first homer of the spring. I don't think there's really any I don't think there's any situation right now where Nick Gonzales makes this team. I don't know if you're
No.
kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, nice guy. I think that home run was also kind of aided by the wind.
Might have been a little bit, yeah.
Less than
He got now.
100
he gave
miles
it a charge. Like, let's not get like it
Yeah.
was at least a double, right?
Yes, it was at least a double.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 home runs, a home run in 10 parks, but it's less
Yeah.
than 100 miles an hour. So I think it was a little bit wind, but you know, you take what you get. And yeah, I just hope he uses his time in AAA to fix the holes in his swing, because at the moment, yeah, he's not a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah. No, but it was good to see him get on the board today. Gorski with the homer that we mentioned. Kind of similar problems to Gonzales, really. Like the power's there, and they hit the ball hard when they make contact, but they just too big of a hole in each of their swings. Making contact is going to be the issue.
Yeah, and you know, he's a competent enough defender that like you're happy with him on the 40 man is like if there's like an emergency backup, unless he fixes things. But right now, yeah, he can't be rostered.
Yeah.
Peguero's outplayed him. I haven't seen a whole lot of Triolo, but Triolo's outplayed him. But you know,
yeah, I wonder if Triolo is one of those guys who's been down with the flu. Like the flu's been just like going through this entire team for the last 2 weeks. So.
I gave it to the team.
Yeah, yeah, it's all your fault, Neil. All right. Well, listen, Pirates win 8-4. They play the Phillies tomorrow at 1:05. Martin Perez on the mound for the Pirates tomorrow. You got anything to add before we get out of here?
No, I think I'm good. I'm happy for Matt Gorski. Glad he homered, but yeah, besides that, not a whole lot else. I think we got the most of it.
Sounds good. Well, again, I'm Jim. With me is Neil. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Pirates win. Starbucks tomorrow morning. Donardo and I will be on at 7 a.m. So get your coffee ready for that tomorrow, and we'll talk to you later. See you guys.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.